This portion of the CU podcast is brought to you by Mando. Listen, we all need a little deodorant in our lives. Sometimes you can get a little stanky. What I like about Mando is that you can put it on and forget you put it on for days because it lasts so long. And, you know, sometimes I'll even rewear my own shirt a couple times, 3 times, maybe go to the store. I'm a caveman, whatever. But with Mando, you don't have to worry about it.
Mando is a whole body deodorant. It's safe to use anywhere. You can put it on your pits, your junk, thighs, belly buttons, cracks, whatever, feet. It's created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO is being misdiagnosed and mistreated. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. You can get a solid deodorant stick to stop odor before it starts, or you can get a spray deodorant. It's aluminum free and ideal for hard to reach places. And you can choose from a variety of fresh scents like bourbon leather, clover woods, Mount Fuji, or Pro Sport. Clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's odor level was a 5 out of 10. With Mando, the average odor level is a 0 out of 10.
Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code CUPODCAST at shopmando.com. SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our podcast and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. All right, Ian, you see all this crap on the ground over here?
I do.
Around here. You see more than usual. Mm-hmm. But those are empty, those plastic shelves you don't like over there. And you walk past my couch, I had like lots of boxes you saw that were stacked up.
Yes.
And like, I'm starting to price out a chunk of my games and consoles to sell. Not all of them.
Oh, I thought you were building a fort.
I don't want to crash the market. Well, the real market's being crashed as we speak because of tariffs. But I have started pricing out things for the past 6 weeks or so. I started around January 10th or so. I've been going back through my spreadsheet that I've had for like 20 years, tracking all my games, consoles by tabs, because I never had a price charting. It was never all in price charting. I had an account, but then I started actually inputting it all into price charting and getting numbers spit out for loose consoles, loose games, games with manuals, complete in box, etc. And putting down the values of them to get an estimate of what do I actually have, and plus, do I still have all these things in my collection? And the funny thing is, not funny, but I do have 99.9% of the things in my collection, except for things here or there that I lost, or games that Ian borrowed from me 5 to 8 years ago that he decided I still have here that I would have forgotten had I never gone through this process. So thanks, Ian, for giving me back my Paper Mario, my Snowboard Kids 2, my Friar Pro Wrestling returns. There might be a No Mercy somewhere, but thank you.
The story was I borrowed them so we could test out a product that we had gotten for an advertisement or something, and I did, and then they wasn't
an advertisement. It was just hey, check out the N64 HDMI upscaler.
So I did that, and I promptly set them aside with my other video games, and neither of us thought about them ever again until you started doing this.
So that's been part of the process of this, and things here or there are not showing up that I thought I have. The biggest weird one is that I should have my list open. I don't want to have my list open. My Pat's game list. I have about 7 or 8 Amiga CD32 games that came in like CD cases because they're CDs. And I have the console that I bought from our pal Steve Lynn somewhere over there. The console's worth several $100s now. I probably bought it for Steve at the time for $80 because no one gave a shit about that 9 years ago.
It's got a banging version of Alfred Chicken.
It probably does, doesn't it? Probably does.
It does.
The console wasn't even really released in the U.S. I think in Canada it was, and obviously in Europe. So the point is this, is that at some point, I don't know where, this is why I'm crazy, and I get bothered by this stuff, is that I acquired at one time probably, let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I bought 8 of these at one point, including the SimCity release, Jungle Strike, classic board games, and more. Case of the Conscious Condor. I mean, they're all gone. I can't find them. They're not with the console. I don't know why these games would be not in my possession anymore. They might still show up in my garage, but these are the sort of things going through a collection that I took for granted. Hey, do you actually know where all this shit is still? And this is a case where, no, I have no idea.
Did you buy them all at once?
I had to have. You're not going to come across multiple cases of this.
And they're in your spreadsheet as owned.
I don't put things in my spreadsheet unless I own them.
Yeah, well, that's why I asked.
Yeah.
So
that was my process.
Because I was just the only thing I could think of was it was like one of those things where like.
Oh no!
You were waiting and you were going to bite on it, and maybe you didn't.
I literally have notes: replacement case ? Manual missing cover ? Yes, yeah. These are things I
replacement case password.
Yes. No, I wasn't even going to go in on random games like Timetable of History, which probably wasn't a game. So here's the point. Please, when you are, this is just a tip before I get into the process. When you are collating 5,000 games, which only a few of you crazy people are, you should probably also track where this shit is. And yes, I did move into Castle Country from there, but like it's impossible to track all of this stuff unless you have a good sort of like handle on it. And I'm not missing a ton of stuff, but this is one that bothered me because there's no way that I would have sold these games. There's no way that I would have given them away because they're so unique and they're so particular of a weird system. It'd be like me giving away that weird handheld down in the bottom row, that fucking weird one they don't work. Is that you know what I'm talking about? The one in the bottom right there. Like that weird ass one. Yeah. Like you don't find that anywhere. And I don't think any of those actually ever worked. So anyway.
Super Micro.
Yeah, the Super Micro. It's like, why would I ever get rid of that? It's so stupid and dumb, no one wants it anyway.
Right.
So I've been pricing all this stuff out, and I don't want to say thrown for a loop, but I started with my Game Boy black and white games because it's a console or platform that I had acquired very slowly through the past, 25 years, but it was never a goal to get them. It was always, if I find them cheap, see them at the swap meet. If I'm digging through a bunch of dollar ones at a convention, maybe I'll pick some weird ones. Oh yeah, I remember playing, Kicks once on the Game Boy. Like Kevin had the Game Boy. Of course, Kevin did. Cheats at board games, somehow deserves a Game Boy. Anyway, I had acquired a good amount of them, and then one of the last Craigslist deals I ever got back in like 2010, not long after I moved here, or late 2009, it was like top loader NES, 25 NES loose games, and like 50 or 60 box complete Game Boy black and white games for like $200 for all of it. It's one of the last great Craigslist deals I ever got. The smartphones weren't popular yet.
Sure.
And it was games I knew were hard to find. Like there was a couple Mega Mans in there. There was like WCW wrestling, which was hard to find, let alone complete. Universal Soldier. But I had zero idea how the prices on those went up during the years. There would be no reason for me to check them, for me to track them. They're just in a box. Ian looks at them once a year.
Yeah, it's not something that you're particularly...
So once I got to, and I'm like embarrassed to say some of these amounts, by the way. Like it's not a humble brag. I'm going on price charting to bring up. By the way, price charting overall does a great job. Obviously, it goes mostly off of eBay, but there's other things involved. I've talked to JJ, who runs it before, about incorporating other things. It's like years and years ago about trying to incorporate private sales more and things like that to make it more, more of a collective of things. That's how they used to do it with the price guides for sports cards back in the day. People would actually record sales happening at conventions and at expos and stuff. Otherwise, how do you do it? There's no way to track it. So going into my account, like it really hit me once I input everything, and then was like, okay, now just click the tab on all Game Boy black and white, and it just spits out the totals at the top, and I'm like, holy shit. And that's when it hit me. And that was the first console I started with.
Right.
With that. So psychologically, it made me realize that not that should I be holding this amount of things, but I've had people say that, do you feel comfortable with that amount of things in your house? It's like, no, I mean, I guess anyone can be robbed of anything, but, moving a bunch of Game Boy games or NES games. But it really put things into perspective about this is a collection of money in a box. I never wanted to think of it that way before. I never did. But that's when you have the numbers in front of you for the first time, it's like, this box is worth whatever, $10,000 in front of you versus just a box of cool games you have.
I think we all want to pretend like we're all into things enough that, we wouldn't ever get rid of them. But I think you are always tested. Your love of a collection is always going to be tested the moment you see the amount of money you can get for it, and you will starkly consider, or you will very in depth consider, do I need this anymore?
And a caveat: I'm not going to sell everything I'm pricing out, but I'm going to sell a chunk of the stuff, especially those consoles or platforms I am not fond of, or not necessarily fond of. I don't have a deep connection to.
You don't.
Right. I don't have a deep connection to the Sega Genesis. I have a little bit through Kevin, who had everything, and playing at other friends' house. So I'll keep like half of the Genesis games. I'll keep some of the Saturn games, but not a lot. But for like something like Game Boy, I'll probably pick through and be like, oh, these are the games that are cool. I remember playing via friends. Like I'll keep Faceball 2000. I'll keep a few of the. I'll keep like the original like semi-release titles. I'll keep like Castlevania. I'll keep Alleyway. I'll keep baseball and tennis. Like I'll keep some of these cute ones that hey, I remember
the ones that everyone had growing up.
Not that, but yeah.
Yeah.
I had Tiger LCDs. But when I go through, like, I'm looking at some of these games that even the manual only I have on some of this stuff, it's fucking crazy. I had a spare Mega Man 4 manual. It's $145. Like, just like the manual. And again, if you don't track this stuff, you have no idea, like, hey, this is what this stuff is now potentially going for.
I do it with my records. I'm not as up to date on it as I should be, but I do it with my records just because you should know. You should know for insurance reasons. And, this isn't to sound morbid, but like...
We all die.
We all die. And if I go, I don't want Vonnie to have to approach a collection that she doesn't know anything about and go, what the fuck am I going to do here?
I had a conversation with my sister a year ago when I told her I was going to start doing this, but I said to her, if I die, I already have it on Google Docs. I may have to re-update it. Here's a list of the 50 or 100 games that are worth the most amount of money. Include obviously the ones in the bank vault, because I don't want it be, not that it'd be an insult to my dead memory that she would get pennies in the dollar, but she shouldn't for herself and for the rest of my family. She shouldn't like, hey, if I die, she shouldn't sell a gold NWC cart for $1,000. That would be like, what are you fucking doing? So I want to make sure that like I do this for part of that reason, but also, yes, I think it's responsible to know people have rainy day stuff that happens where, hey, I need money. Whether you have illness and something, doesn't, your insurance in this great country doesn't cover it, or say something happens where, oh my God, my car fucking is totaled and my insurance doesn't cover it. I need to spend $25,000 on a new car. There are lots of reasons to know what you have laying around just in case. Mm-hmm. It's a just in case thing. When it comes to this, like, okay, like I would not have known that itchy and scratchy miniature golf madness I have complete in box is worth $420 according to price charting.
What game is that for?
Game Boy.
Oh,
so you never heard of it because it's probably uncommon or rare. So like that's what I mean. Like I would never have known. And I think I sent you the list of them for you to look.
You did Game Boy or Game Boy Color?
Game Boy, black and white.
Oh, I didn't look at your complete stuff. That's why.
Okay. I'm gonna share some of this with you. So that was the first jolt. Then I started going, okay, now I got it in. I went to Intellivision, and that was like sort of what I expected. Most is garbage except for some uncommon like weird stuff like Scooby Doo or Diner that could be $80 or $100 complete in box. Then I went from that to like stuff in those drawers like 3DO and CDI that are just worth money because no one has it. There wasn't a lot of it. Then I went to like Atari, and then I went to ColecoVision. It sucked doing the Atari 2600 stuff. I have hundreds of Atari 2600 games because you get them in batches easily at the flea market. And I had no idea how many multiples of certain games I had because I didn't do a good job tracking that. So I got to a point where I got into a rhythm where I do like one console, like, hey, I'll do ColecoVision today. That's like whatever. I have like 50 games. But like Atari took like 4 days because there were hundreds of them, and I had to reorganize them. And then I had like a huge swath of fucking manuals.
And those can all go.
I'd say for Atari 2600, I think 80% to 90% of that's going to be gone. And I'll probably keep like, Keystone Capers. Combat. Who doesn't love Combat? Weird ones. I have some weird ones that are like, this is weird. I probably won't see this again. I might keep this. Spy Hunters is one that's like hard to find.
Yeah.
I keep that. I love Spy Hunter, and I'll keep it a Telegames I have the Telegames 2 in the box. I have the rental case with the 20. So I'll keep some of that. But no, I don't need. Let me click on Atari, and I'll. This is just to show you like some of this weirdness that I have here. This isn't an advertisement for random people to say I want to buy this. By the way, even though I probably get that. But like weird shit like I don't know, Solar Fox. I have both the manual and the cartridge. It's not worth a ton, but it's probably uncommon, you know. And then I have Pigs in Space. The Muppet game is, I guess, hard to find on Atari 2600.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one.
Maze Mania. I have some weird shit. Regular Math. I have a complete in box, $83.
I've definitely seen Maze Mania before.
So yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's some weird shit that I might say. Oh, Frankenstein's Monster is $40 because that's probably an uncommon one that not many people have heard of. You know.
I don't know really.
See, I mean, I ain't seen a ton of this shit.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. So it's going to come down to, do I really need Dice Puzzle?
No.
For $54. I have the manual somehow too. Somehow I get the manual part of the swap meet with it, and it's like, yeah, some weird collector might want that. If there was an Othello on Atari, Ian would be all over it. But Dice Puzzle. Oh, there is. Oh, okay.
It's super common.
Okay. I mean, so you see my point? I'm going to get down to the nitty gritty and be like, what do I actually need? Do I really need the Checkers version of Telegames complete in box? It's worth over $100 because who the hell has the Telegames version? Thank you. So Ian's proud of me, but he won't say it. Then I'm finally starting to do this.
I've said it. I'm proud of you.
So at this point, what I have left to do, it's weird. I've been slowing down as I've gotten more into it. Atari Lynx, that's Game Gear stuff there. So Atari Lynx, Game Gear, I have to do. I have to do a lot of random accessories that are in the garage. There's some ColecoVision shit you can see in there. I have a ton of extra NES controllers and advantages and weird stuff like, a U-Force complete in box. I got to price that stuff. I got to price.
Is the U-Force complete in box? Is that actually like worth something?
I have no idea. I didn't get there yet. It probably is a little bit. But so I have a bunch of box consoles.
It would surprise me.
I have a bunch of box consoles in a room that Ian knows. It's like my console room right here. A ton, like stuff like the Vectrex 3D Imager I have complete in box. That's like probably $1,500 or $2,000. Who fucking knows? And then I have to try to price the box NES games. I'm gonna price all the ones on the shelf. I'm not gonna sell a lot of those. I'm gonna price those all though, and then see, okay, what do I got? Plus, I have 3 boxes in the garage that most are gonna go. So like that's gonna be, once I get to those, then it's gonna balloon up because a lot of those are worth $1,000 just there. Like DuckTales 2 complete in box is probably several $100s at least, if not $1,000. I have no idea. Bought at Luna. So that'll be interesting just to see what are those actually worth.
Right.
Just like what's a random game. Danny Sullivan's Indie Heat complete in box worth. But I'm not going to sell that one because I have a sticker, or it's actually signed by Danny. I got that at PRGE.
Oh, yeah.
So that's not going out of my cold, dead hands. But like I have Space Shuttle sealed. Like, why would I need that? Oh, there it is. How did I get it off?
I got excited for a second.
That it was broken entirely.
Yeah.
It's weird. I hit it and I kind of moved and it didn't. And then I have all the rental cases, and I don't know if I want to sell those because it's sort of like my weird thing that I like. Plus, if you want to keep one, loose console like my Sega Saturn console, why wouldn't you want to keep it in a rental case? Because then it's protected.
Yeah.
But they're super bulky.
I feel like that's the way to keep them, though, if you're gonna. I don't think you need to worry so much about space with just those. You're getting rid of enough space.
By the way, I actually looked on eBay, and hopefully this doesn't make the market go up. They had a 5200 console case on the market. It goes for hundreds of dollars, though, at least on eBay. So I'm in the market for that.
That made me tingle.
That means you just see, you're like, all right. So I did finally get a Atari Jaguar case, but it's not the one you typically see, but I did get one. So now I have that. So I basically have all the cases for the most part, at least one version of each that came out, except for the 5200. I don't have that one. Anyway, so that's what I have to do. So I'm going to finish that probably by sometime in April. And then some of the prices will be out of date in my spreadsheet because I started in January. But I don't know if we're going to go into recession this year. We might. We'll see. But yeah, that's what the process has been.
I think that's a guarantee.
And you have no idea. I had no idea, for example, until I did this also. I have like 6 doubles of random Genesis games that I had 2 copies of. I never recorded I had 2 of them, so I bought them again. Just like, you don't realize this shit until you actually go through it. Not as bad as the NES doubles, but I'll tell you in a second if you want to like have any questions or anything. Like what random Genesis games I have 2 of, but it's weird.
Not exactly that, but I do have 2 questions.
Right.
Hopefully you've got some answers here. The first one is when you were going through to price stuff, I'm not talking about games that you were missing that you had. Did you find any weird holes in your collection that you were like, I'm surprised I didn't fill that out?
Yes. I won't say which one, but I thought I had every NES Wisdom Tree game complete in box out of the 7. I'm missing 1 complete in box. And I thought at some point that would have made sense, as I love how weird those are, that I would have gotten that. And the fact that I got the other ones, but that one was weird to me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like something where when you see it, you go, no, you're right, I didn't get that, but I thought I did, or I would have.
Something that would have logically made sense for me to have gotten based upon my other collecting proclivities. I did not have that. It's not missing, but I thought I would have bought that at some point, and I didn't have that. That's the one thing in my mind that came up, was like, I thought I would have had that. The other one was a Genesis game that I had down, but I think I put down the Sega Master System. I do not have Evander Holyfield on Genesis, which to me is like amazing because it's an earlier game that I would have come across for like $3.
Yeah.
And that amazed me. And I had it down. I probably put it down for Master System by accident, or someone borrowed it. But either way, I did not have it when I went through it. I was like, that's a weird one for me not to have. A really weird one for me. Because I wouldn't have sold, I'm sorry, not Evander Holyfield, Buster Douglas on Genesis. That's like almost a launch title. And the fact that I didn't have that to me was really weird to me. So I might pick that one up along the way.
The other one was, and I know this happens to me when I go through my games, whether I'm pricing them or not. This isn't a dig. I have plenty of games that I haven't played. When you were going through your library, did you see anything where you were like, damn, I really wanted to play that? Or anything you want to play before you maybe get rid of it, whether it's on a console or you're making a list of games you might want to emulate? Did you come across anything that you hadn't played and you were like, damn, I can't believe I've had this and I haven't sat down to play it?
Probably, I got to go through my Genesis was the one that I know less about than Super Nintendo, obviously.
That's why I'm asking, because I feel like some of the systems that you... my question would be, I feel like this would pertain more to systems you don't know. Clearly, you're not going to go through NES or Super Nintendo or even on 64 and be surprised by anything. But Genesis, Game Boy, Master System, Sega CD, Saturn particularly. Yeah, let me go through the Genesis. The Genesis one was the one where, like, I looked at some of the games, I'm like, huh. Like, I wish I had a quicker way to decipher these without... I'm not going to sit down and play through all of them on an emulator to see if I want to keep them. But let me go through some of the Genesis ones. I mean, like, just anything that kind of re-sparked your interest. Yeah, let me go through Genesis real quick, because there was ones like Growl, I knew... I bought Growl for almost full price because you beat up and kill poachers. Mm-hmm. That's my game. I ain't selling that. I'm not selling that. It's too good of an idea. It's too good, and it's something I want to do in real life. Yep. So like it's like a sick kink of mine to beat up poachers. Is that a kink? I don't know if that's a kink or not. It should be a fetish. Kink. Yeah. Fetish. All right. So Genesis category set. Some of those shooters. Yeah. Looked interesting. I've heard, like, you probably have played Felios. I have not. Felios is good. It's right next to Truxton. Oh yeah, I always see it because those I bought the swap meet the same day. I think the same person had those. Felios always sticks out because it's got that blue spine. Truxton's good. Do you have Hellfire? I do not think so. Why can't I alphabetize these? Why not? I'll be able to alphabetize these first. That's one that I really like. That's a shooter you can get on both PC Engine and Genesis. That has a good Genesis version. But yeah, I figured the shooters maybe, because I always do see like the Truxton and the Felios up there. No interest in playing Crew Ball. I have 2 of those. That's one of the ones I have 2 of. Okay, so what are the ones you have the accidental doubles of? Okay, I can't. It's not working on here. I have to go to my actual spreadsheet. Price chart is not letting me quickly do it. I think that's one of the ones I have 2 of. But it's gonna be the weirdest list. One is Cyberball. I put them next to each other, right next to Rampart on the 4th shelf. You can see them on the left. I have 2 Cyberballs on Genesis.
I have 2 balls of Cyber on Sega. Is that just weird? Like what? How?
The only thing I can think of is that's a common enough, cheap enough game that you maybe were like, I don't know, and bought it just in case.
At the swap meet?
Yeah.
But didn't put down that, hey, I have it already? I wasn't caring. Okay, here are my, let's see if I can do my doubles real quick here. I want to try Beast Wrestler. Just because I don't know if it's a wrestling game or what the hell it is.
It's a bad game, but that's definitely one that that's
it's just a weird, like,
it's a fun name. Yeah.
Let's see. Do I have 2 crew balls? No, I only have 1 crew ball. Sorry. I've actually never played Gargoyles, and I have it complete in box, and that goes for a lot.
It's very, very interesting.
That's what I want to do.
It's technically impressive.
I definitely want to try. No, James Bond 007 The Duel. I've seen gameplay. It's kind of simple. I'm not a big James Bond fan, but that's not one I'm really into that much. I have 2 M1 Abrams battle tank. I have 2 light Crusaders, but one is loose. One is complete in box. Those are 2 examples of weird ones that I have multiple of.
Those are always ones that me personally I've always wanted to sit down and just for a day flip through and try them, but all the weird PC to Genesis simulation games that seemed to really I don't know, kind of define the early Genesis era. Like, I feel like they were going for a different market. There's a bunch of the F-115 and I think F-44A. Okay. There's the Abrams tank ones. There's a couple of submarine ones. There's a lot of those. I
want to try the port of Outrun, because I love Outrun and Outrunners.
Outrunners is a lot of fun on there.
But I don't think I've actually played the Genesis Outrun, I don't think.
It's good.
I want to try. No, I'm sure it is. And then, let's see, I have 2 Samurai Showdowns.
Not
one
great
is loose.
On the Genesis.
Not great?
No.
I have 2 Sonic and Knuckles, but who doesn't have? I have 2 Sonic Spinballs. Who doesn't have 2 of those, probably? I have 2... No, I don't have 2 of those. Oh, I have 2 Maximum Carnages. Speaking of Maximum Carnage, I brought that up earlier. Not a ton, but there's some weird ones. Like I got weirded out at Cyberball because, like, I love playing that in the arcade with the 2 monitors. It's fun. It's not a great game, Cyberball. It's not Tecmo Bowl. It's kind of tough to get into. You have to love Cyberball.
Yeah, it's not good.
I have 2 Vector Mans.
I definitely know it's not good because I love like fake future sports games, and Cyberball just never held my attention.
You have any questions or queries about my psyche as I went through this? What it did to me? Did it undo any weird hordiness over the years?
I was thinking about that, and I don't really have. I'm interested in how you feel about it, but I also feel like I know how you will feel when it's done, and you will feel clean and clear, and you are not going to regret a fucking thing. Be careful. That's all I would say is like. Because you've never really sold stuff unless it's like true extras.
Mostly extras, yeah.
As a person who has sold off big parts of his collection that I spent, decades collecting, all I've felt afterwards, as long as I gave it a real good thought, was happy that it was gone.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those things. Like, I've regretted selling a couple of things. I regretted selling at SoCal. I sold the Killer Instinct Super Nintendo set. And that to me was really fucking cool.
You've said that.
And so the fact that I keep saying it means I might at some point really go back to that. And the fact that I probably only sold it for half what it was worth. And my Killer Cut City was not open. That I kind of regret, and I had the Video Pinball standalone Atari one in the box.
You did for a long time. When did you get rid of that?
The same SoCal.
Same SoCal.
It was like 2022, the last one you went with me at.
I think that was actually when I sold my... it's funny that you mention it because I was just thinking in my head, when I started to sell off some of my portable stuff, that was the only time where I realized, like, as I started to do it, hey, I'm going to back off. Because, I do like this portable stuff. And the thing that I got rid of that I wish I hadn't, I think I got rid of it at SoCal, and it was my Wonder Swan Crystal. So we made some shitty decisions.
And you still regret it?
Yeah, especially because they're a lot more expensive now, and like really expensive. So I do regret that. We made bad decisions at that SoCal.
Well, you can always rebuy it, and you make up for the fact that if you sold 90% that you don't care about or anymore, you can still rebuy it. That's how I'm going to look at it.
Right.
Like, but something.
Good way to do it.
I also forgot I didn't price out all my handheld stuff, like the consoles. I have 2 Game Boys original DMGs in the box. They're both like pristine. One of them has the earphones still in the fucking wrapper in one of those. I have two of them. Ian, they're right there. They're stacked.
Yeah, I think those are finally at a point
But
where
I'm not
you would
selling
get
both. I'll
something
sell
for
one
it.
of them. Oh, those are worth a ton now. Stuff like the Game Boy Micro with the 2 faceplates or 3 that's hard to find right there in the box.
The Micro, yeah.
But it has the multiple faceplates.
It's super expensive.
I got that at the swap meet.
Oh, yeah.
Like I won't. It's cool, but am I a big Game Boy Micro fanatic? I'm going to be caring about that.
Yeah, no.
Or I have like the what is it? I have the Famicom version of the Micro that they came out with. I have that one in the box. I believe it's in the box. I have the gold, the golden red one. I have the NES version of the DS? I did an NES version of, or Game Boy Advance.
They did the GBA SP.
It's over there.
Yeah, the GBA SP
One of
got a
those.
Nintendo themed one.
Oh, there's the other thing I'm pissed about. I brought it with you. You didn't borrow it. I don't think. I asked you though. I'm missing my DS Lite, my black DS Lite. I had the box.
Oh yeah,
for it.
no.
The one that I had in my flash car. I used to bring on all my trips 10 years ago.
I had so
Before
many
was-
DS Lites. There's no reason I ever would have borrowed that.
But I'm pissed because it had like 20 to 30 DS games load up that I actually would play. I didn't load up the whole library. It's like, what am I actually going to play? Then I had some Game Boy Advance ROMs on it, and I would play it when I flew. I don't know where the hell it is. So that's driving me crazy. Did I leave it at a hotel at like MagFest in 2015 or something? The last time I went, I have no idea. Wow, it's been 10 years since I went to MagFest. Just realized, holy shit. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, it's been a process. I'm sure it'll be, I don't know, fun to see the final amount. I think it's going to be, again, I'm not pricing on everything even to go through. I'm not pricing all the loose NES games. I'm not pricing out the Turbo stuff. Not pricing out the Master System stuff. But it'll be interesting to see once I get to the box NES games and the box consoles, the prices are going to jump considerably.
Yeah, and what suddenly you don't really feel like you need to keep anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Is that a second copy of Danny Sullivan's Indie Heat? I have 2 copies. I have the signed one, and I have the one over there. The second row, right side, second row on the right. Is that another Indie Heat? Do I have 2 of them on the box?
I can't tell.
You can't tell?
I need new glasses.
I think it is, because it looks the same as the other box. I'm crazy. Who needs 2 box Danny Sullivan's Indie Heats? Or anything else, Ian? We good?
No, I think we're good.